The last type of nomenclature that we're going to do is acids. And acids fall into two categories, a binary acid and a tertiary oxo acid. Again, the oxo refers to the fact that there's an oxygen as part of it. So an oxo acid has hydrogen, oxygen, and one other element. So for naming the oxo acids, if it is an ite compound, so what does that mean? So the NO2 is nitrite. Okay, so that I ending there means as an acid it becomes OUS, but so this becomes NIT. NITROUS acid, and that's HNO2. Okay, if it's an ate compound, ATE, such as SO4 2 minus is sulfate. Okay, hydrogens are plus 1, so I have to have 2 hydrogens, so it's H2SO4. So the 8 becomes an ic, and so it becomes sulfuric acid. Okay, so any of the oxo anions become oxo acids using that. And this is showing, again, figure out the book that the 8 becomes ic, the ite becomes us. So this is nitrous acid and nitric acid. So again, these are some of the oxo ions, anions. So the 8 becomes ic, so carbonate becomes carbonic acid. We did nitrous and nitric acid. Phosphate becomes phosphoric, sulfite becomes sulfurous, sulfate becomes sulfuric, hypochlorite becomes hypochlorous, so the prefix stays the same with the hypo, chlorite becomes chlorous, chlorate becomes chloric, and perchlorate, again, the prefix per stays the same and the H just becomes an ic. Okay. For binary acids, which means the fact that there's binary, again, only means there's 2 different elements here, so H and Cl, H and I. So they all have the same format of hydro blank, and that blank is going to be the base of the element name, ic acid. So chlorine, the base is chlor, CHLOR, so it becomes hydrochloric acid. This is iodine, so it's IOD is the base, so it becomes hydroiodic acid. And I'm going to go down to the next slide here, next 2 slides and come back. Okay, so name the following acids. Okay, so these are all acids because they start with hydrogen. Okay, so that's how I can identify them as being acids. So SeO3 is selenite. SLENITE. So the ite becomes what? Us. So this is selenious, SLENOUS, and then you write down the acid at the end. Okay. This one is also an acid because it starts with hydrogen, but this is only binary. There's no oxygen there. There's only 2 elements. So therefore, it has to start with hydro because it's binary. And then this is iodine, so the base of it is IOD, and then ic acid. Okay, this is another oxo acid, has 3. Okay, so NO3 is nitrate, ATE. So the ATE becomes ic, so it becomes nitric acid. ClO, okay, ClO is one that chlorine is on the 7, so it takes 2 to make ite and 3 to make 8, and this only has 1, so this is the chlorite ion, okay, and so it becomes hypochlorous and that's what I'm doing, misspelling it, acid. Okay, so that's going from the formula to the name, and just like all the other ones, you have to go both ways. So this one, I give you the name. This one is a little bit harder to me, okay? So if it is Ig, that means I need the 8, and so phosphate is PO4, okay? Phosphorus is here in group 5A, so it forms ion of -3. And most of the time, it forms the same ion, so this is also a 3-. This is important because of the fact I need to know how many hydrogens, because each hydrogen is a +1, so I need 3 hydrogens to neutralize that. So phosphoric acid is that. Here's the hydro, so it's just chlorine. Okay, chlorine is in group 7A over here, so it's a -1. So Cl is a -1, so it's HCl. Acetic acid. So acetate's one of those that you had to memorize from table 2.7. It is a C2H3O2-. So acetic acid is HC2H3O2. Hydrobromic. Okay, so again, it's binary because it has the hydro in front of it. So bromide is just Br with a minus, so it becomes HBr. And those are those acids. Okay. Now, we're not going to practice any of these, but I do want to introduce the term, and I go back up 2 slides, the end of the slide, is hydrates. Hydrate's a compound that the water molecule is part of the crystal structure. So it's symbolized by having the dot. It's not times, it's just associated with it. And then the number of waters. And then you basically just put a prefix, the same prefix we use for the molecular compounds, you put here. So 2 would be dihydrate. Oops. Okay, 2 would be dihydrate, and 7 would be heptahydrate. So you name these compounds: barium chloride, magnesium sulfate, and then add the hydrate to it. Okay, so that is the end of the nomenclature.